We would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we want you to consider this. Have you made room for Jesus in your heart? And he is everywhere looking for us and searching for us. So listen carefully to our story tonight as we learn that a little boy made room for Jesus.
Today, I would like to tell you a story about a boy named Wilbur. Wilbur was one of the nicest boys that anyone ever knew. Wilbur was one of the kindest boys around. At school, he shared his lunch, shared his candy, shared his cupcakes with all of his friends. Wilbur was also the largest boy in class. Wilbur was taller than any other boy. He was also heavier than any other boy. He had bright red hair. Wilbur also had bright red freckles that dotted his cheeks. He had the best smile in his whole class. His smile beamed brightly from ear to ear. While Wilbur was such a happy and smiling person that everybody enjoyed him and wanted to play with him. At recess, he would play with both girls and boys. And even though he was so big, Wilbur was not a bully. In fact, Wilbur was not mean at all. Not one bit. He was as good-natured as a boy could get. But like us all, Wilbur had a little problem. You see, Wilbur did not like the academic side of school too well. Wilbur couldn't read very well, and worse yet, Wilbur had a hard time remembering things. He had a hard time remembering what the teacher just said. It was so hard for Wilbur to remember that he had to repeat first grade. Being at least a year older than all the other students in first grade, he was the biggest boy in his class. Well, it was Christmas time, and the time of year when all the churches were going to have their Sunday school Christmas programs. Wilbur had always wanted to have a speaking part in one of those Christmas plays, but he could never remember his lines. He was always one of the shepherds who didn't say anything, but carried a shepherd's staff. This particular year, though, his Sunday school teacher approached him.
Wilbur, this year in the Christmas play, would you like to play the part of the innkeeper?
Me? The innkeeper?
Yes, Wilbur, I want you to be the innkeeper. You only have 2 lines you need to remember. When Joseph comes to the door, he will ask you if there's any room at the inn. All you have to say is this: there is no room in the inn, you'll have to sleep in the barn. Wilbur, can you remember that?
There is no room for you in the inn. You have to sleep in the barn.
Wilbur went back to his desk and slowly, with determination, said his lines to himself over and over again.
There is no room in the inn. You have to sleep in the barn.
He then said them faster.
There is no room in the inn. You have to sleep in the barn.
And then Wilbur said his lines as fast as he could.
There is no room in the inn. You have to sleep in the barn.
He was excited. He could learn those lines easily. After school, Wilbur jumped on his bicycle and rode home as fast as he could. He burst into the kitchen and shouted at his mother.
There is no room in the inn. You have to sleep in the barn.
His mother sensed what was going on, and she was very happy. Wilbur was so proud of himself. The week quickly passed. The day for the Christmas program had arrived. The church was jam full. The people were packed in and squished together, just like in our sanctuary today. It came time for Wilbur to come out on the stage. As he did, he looked at all those faces in the congregation. It was a sea of faces. So many people looking up at him on the stage. Wilbur was momentarily mesmerized by so many people sitting with their faces upturned to the front of the church. It was scary to see so many people looking at him, the innkeeper. He started to get a little nervous. The story of Mary and Joseph began to unfold. Wilbur saw Mary and Joseph coming down the aisle of the sanctuary on their way to Bethlehem. And as they did, Wilbur started to feel for Mary and Joseph. His heart was moved by what he saw. And Wilbur thought to himself,
Mary looks so tired. She's been riding that donkey all day. Joseph looks tired too.
Wilbur's heart started to feel so badly for Mary and Joseph as they came down that dusty road to his inn. How could he tell the pregnant Mary and her husband that there was no room in his inn? How could he say something so unkind, so uncaring? Mary and Joseph moved closer and closer to his inn, and as they came closer, Wilbur thought,
Oh no, what is my part? I can't remember what I'm supposed to say.
Joseph finally arrived at the front door of the inn. He knocked on the door.
Innkeeper, do you have any room for us in the inn? My wife Mary is going to have a baby. Real soon, like tonight. Do you have room for us in the inn?
Wilbur was overwhelmed by the moment and his feelings as he said,
There is no room for you in the inn. You have to sleep in the barn. But you can have my room if you want.
and everybody laughed. And they laughed. And Wilbur felt so embarrassed. He felt that everyone was laughing at him. He felt so badly that his teacher would be disappointed with him because he messed up his lines. Wilbur knew in his heart that everyone was laughing at him. During the rest of the Christmas program, Wilbur's eyes kept looking down at the floor. He hung his head low. After the play was over and the congregation had finished singing Silent Night, his Sunday school teacher rushed up to him and said,
Wilbur, you were the best player in the whole program.
I was?
Yes, you understood the meaning of Christmas more than anyone else here tonight. You were fabulous, Wilbur.
Really?
Really?
Suddenly, all the kids from Wilbur's class were crowding around Wilbur and patting him on the back.
You were really good tonight.
You got it right, Wilbur.
You were awesome, Wilbur.
After hearing all his friends say such nice things, Wilbur started to feel proud of himself. It came time that night when Wilbur needed to go to bed. Wilbur's mother kissed him goodnight and told him how proud she was of him. She closed the door. It was dark in Wilbur's room, except for the light streaming in through the curtained windows. It was time for Wilbur to say his nightly prayers. His prayers that evening were simple.
Jesus, I want you to stay here in my room with me tonight and every night for the rest of my life. Amen.